Hey, good morning. Good morning. This is a live broadcast. It's Sunday, the 13th of November. I wanted to do this recording while I was out this morning on my pre-dawn meditational prayer walk. Of course, I'm out here in the desert and it's still dark. It's dark and cold, but it's also quiet. And I was going to do this recording while out on the walk, and it's cold and it's hard to manipulate the controls with gloved hands, and I didn't want my tender little hands to be out in the cold. So I came back in and I said, you know what, let me just sit down here and gather some thoughts and put them out there. If this reaches and encourages just one person, then my work here today will have been completed. Will have been complete. I will have fulfilled my mission for today. And tomorrow is another day. It's the whole each one teach one, each one reach one. That's all it takes. It's if each one of us adapts that sort of an attitude. Oh, what a wonderful place the world could be. So, I thought about writing an essay and doing that, and I may. A lot of you who have followed me, know me through the years, have come to become familiar with my writing, and many of you said you missed it, and where is it? No, it's just the way my life has gone through a lot of changes. And for me, writing is something I enjoy, but it's also something that I'm not a fast writer. It takes a tremendous amount of time for me to write the simplest things. It just doesn't flow like that, like it does for some people. And quite frankly, the way my life has been, the hectic travel schedule and such, there just hasn't been the time. But I hope to start making some small changes to that, and gradually get back to where I can produce more that way. But okay, so let's get into this. There's no reason to prolong this and stretch this out. Let's just get right down to it, because I believe it is important. It is important now more than ever, for us to refocus on who we are, what we're about, and where we're going. And I don't mean as a nation. Forget the nation for a moment. I'm talking about as a human being, as you, your individual self. I've seen it all over the place, but I think I was the first one that I know of in my circle to come up with the hashtag, make yourself great again. And that's so important. Let me tell you something. You're not going to make your nation great again if you don't first make yourself great again. Okay? To borrow, the popular slogan there. But seriously, you can't, if you're right within yourself, then you can start making other things right. But you have to straighten out your personal philosophy first. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. It doesn't matter who's in Congress, okay? Because no matter what, there's going to be a group that's disenfranchised. But life goes on. There's some folks, all we have to do is get those darn Republicans out and things are going to be better. Oh, really? And then if it's Democrat control, all we have to do is get those darn Democrats out and things are going to be so much better. Oh, really? Don't kid yourself, people. We're going to just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But life goes on, the beat goes on. And if you want to be a successful person, if you want to live life, and I mean really live, you have to look within first. You can't let the external chaos, the external confusion define and mold who you are. It's not going to happen instantaneously or overnight, but you, me, we need to work on who we are, finding our core character strength and our core traits, the essence of our very being, and be so solid and so firm in that instead of our surroundings, our circumstances influencing us, we are influencing it and them in a positive way, in an uplifting way. So my tips for facing the future without fear. Well, this is in no particular order, but listen, you got to get out of your comfort zone. If you find yourself filled with fear and anxiety, you know what? Where you are, that comfort zone, your daily routine that you've been, carrying out, that has a lot to do with how you got there. Time to change it. You get up at 6 every day, try getting up at 4. Do something a little different. Stretch yourself. You would be surprised how subtle little changes make big differences. As a mariner, as a sailor, I can tell you, if you're off course just a few degrees, do you know what that looks like played out over the long term, over hundreds of miles, over thousands of miles? You become way off course, but it's only the smallest little adjustment. So on the flip side, the smallest little changes we make, practiced consistently, day in and day out, brings big results. Trust me, I've done it, I've lived it, I know it works. So change, you gotta get out of your comfort zone. It's cold out here where I am. It's in the 30s. I'm an island boy. I mean, I've lived through tons of winters, but at my heart, I like the warmth. But I had to learn to adapt to the cold, even though I was born in the Caribbean. And I get out there and I do my pre-dawn walks where it's quiet. I find that quiet place where I can talk to God, where I can listen to God, where I can talk to myself. Maybe not necessarily audibly, but if you are not spending time daily in prayer and meditation, even if you're not a religious person, believe me, there's power in finding that quiet place. There's power in letting your mind just be, not be bombarded by external stimuli and noise and chatter, but just to find its center, to get recalibrated so that accurately the direction that you really want to be heading in, and not just going with the flow. Yeah, going with the flow sounds good, but you know what happens when you go with the flow? You go over the falls. That's what happens when you just go with the flow. Be determined in your direction that you want to go in. And if that's over the falls, if you're a thrill seeker and you think jumping in a barrel and going over Niagara Falls is cool, then so be it. Go with the flow. But for the rest of us, be like the salmon. Yeah, you know what? The stream is flowing that way, but gosh darn it, we want to go this way. And hell or high water, literally, we're going to go that way because that's what's in us. That's what we decided. And we are going to live out our God-given purpose for the remainder of our days on this earth. And I say that because you think about the salmon, they put a tremendous amount of effort going upstream, dodging all kinds of dangers. And not all of them are going to make it. The bears are going to get some. The eagles are going to pluck some of them out from the sky. Guys like me who love eating salmon, we're going to grab a few. But it doesn't discourage the rest. They don't say, oh my God, look what happened to the Willie over there. Oh man, let's turn around because this isn't going to work. This is scary. No, they just keep going. I know, oversimplification, but there are lessons in nature that if we take the principles of it and apply it to ourselves, they will help us. We can learn from it. No, they just keep going. You know what? Some fall on the left, some fall on the right. The others get, they're the ones that I'm still moving, I'm still breathing, I'm still alive. I'm going to keep going. I got to keep moving. That's the only way I'm going to get where I'm going. Oh, there's a little a log or some rocks in the way. Whoop, leap. Whoa, I cleared it. Let's keep moving. See what I'm saying here? So there's a place for persistence, but you have to know what you're being persistent in, and to find that, again, you have to go to that quiet place. For the faithful people like myself, the spiritual people, we find it in daily prayer. For the non-religiously inclined, there is a place for meditation. And for the religious, some people knock meditation stuff. No, they go together. You got to get in that quiet place with yourself regularly, daily, several times a day, preferably. And this centers you. This guides you. You ever turn on your GPS and it's finding the GPS. It's not ready to go yet, and it's giving you some goofy directions, and you start driving, and then it flips around on you. Oops, I thought I was going the right way, but now the whole map just changed orientation. That's what happens in life to us when we start out before we find our calibration, before we get centered. And that's why daily prayer and meditation is so important. Before you start the day, before you start going, Find your center, find your calibration. I'm going to suggest something else that I also got directly from this walk. Spend more time in nature. I'm serious. It sounds so simple that many will ignore it and not realize the powerful, the powerful tool, so to speak, that it is. Almost so many of us, a good portion of us, the majority of us, I imagine, we live in urban environs. We're surrounded by the concrete jungle and the noise and the pollution and everything else that comes with it. And, we're there for convenience and close to work, and we like the city life and all that stuff. But make it part of your regular mission to get out sometimes. Get out. Go walk around a lake somewhere. Go down to the ocean. And I don't mean, where there's lots of people, but where it's not as crowded sometimes. Go find a trail, a path. Plan a day trip. Get out to the mountains. Do something, but do it regularly. Get in touch with the natural world. Believe me, it will help you more than you realize if you haven't done it in a while. As soon as you do it, the moment you start doing it, you're going to be like, why haven't I done this sooner? Wow, we are already past the 10-minute mark that I like to keep these podcasts under. I guess I talked too much at the beginning, but these are just some of my tips for facing the future without fear. Fear will cripple you, will destroy you, will cause you physical illness. It is important that you find ways to deal with it. Have faith, not fear. You can't have both. It's like trying to give a really good hug to two people at the same time. It doesn't work. The thing about faith, if you have faith, let go of the fear. Don't embrace it. Just let it go and cling to the faith. Just think about the physical embrace. And I don't mean in any kind of way sexual, but a good hug involves you taking both of your arms and just wrapping them around someone. You can't do that very well with two people. I mean, you can sort of do, but it's not the same. So when you choose to embrace faith, you just let go of that fear and just put your whole body into the faith, your whole mind, your whole being. And that's the whole thing about faith. You don't know how it's going to end. You don't know where it's going to go, but you believe. You believe that what is in front of you will be better than what was behind you. And, that's the essence of it here. But, maybe I do need to write because, I'm going well past this. And all of our data shows us that this is when people start to tune out. So, if I want to really get some of my tips out there for facing the future without fear, I imagine, by God, I have to find a way to get back to writing some of these things. But I pray, and I hope that some of what I've shared has been helpful to someone at this point. As for me, I turn to the scriptures, and that is a big part of what allows me to survive the most adverse conditions, like being locked up for 6 months when all I did was just be me, not harm a single soul. I got up every day, daily, early in the morning, spent all this time in prayer, meditation, contemplation, and it's what made me a leader among men, even in that dark, dank environment. So I read you two scriptures. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That's from the book of Isaiah. From the book of Matthew, it simply says, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you. That's what I do. I don't know what you do, but that's what works for me. Hey, thank you for listening. And from somewhere in the middle of the desert, I'm James MacArthur. Good day, folks.